Hey, what's going on, everyone? New World Order Survival Guy. Today, we're going to talk about bugging in. Greyman's Home Edition. Now, there's some of this stuff may be obvious, but it's good to put things into perspective and things to think about when bugging in Greyman style, which is the most smartest way to go about bugging in your own home. A lot of these things are an absolute must. All right, you choose to bug in. It's too complicated to go out, or maybe you're not in an area where you can easily go out to the woods or some part of the country or something like that. Or maybe infrastructure's closed off, bridges, highways, and stuff like that, where you can't go past a certain boundary. So instead, you choose to stay home. Bugging in is one of the best things to do if it's probable. If conditions are unsafe of heading out and it's more favorable to stay home, absolutely do it. Now, let's get into some of these scenarios, things like that, that you should really think about while you choose to bug in. Greyman approach is absolutely, in my opinion, the best way. Not letting people know what you have. Don't be a bragger. In other words, shut your mouth. Starting today, starting yesterday, you tell people, I know it's hard to do because you put your blood, sweat, and tears, your hard work, your hard work and money into this stuff. So you want to say, hey, man, you should prep. I'm prepping. I got this, and that. You know, hopefully to encourage friends, family, neighbors to also do the same because it's beneficial for everyone. You know, say, for instance, if I prep and if my next door neighbor prep, it'll be better for both of us because that way they are prepared, and it's better for me if they prep. That way they won't be coming over bugging me for my shit. So, rule number one, shut your mouth. Don't be telling people what you have. Because when shit hits the fan, when times get rough, they run out of their food in their cabinet, they're going to be thinking awfully hard of where they can get something to eat. And immediately is going to ring a bell in their head thinking, oh, I know who has food. I'm usually pretty cool with them. I'm going to go ask them for some food. I'm going to go ask them for this or that. And you relinquish those supplies to them, your ration, your stockpile is going to be, boom, gone. You know, and also, you tell a friend, a good friend, about your stuff, they're going to tell their good friend about your stuff, and it's going to trickle down. Before long, everybody's going to know what you have. You are going to have a target on your ass. Desperate times calls for desperate measures. Remember that. It's a saying that's been around for a while, and it's very true. You hungry enough, your family's hungry enough, you're suffering, you're going to remember who has the goods, and you'll do anything to get it. So be extremely careful of who you tell, if you tell anybody. And if you do have a real tight bond with someone, don't tell them the full extent of what you have. Once again, like I said on a previous show, never keep all your eggs in one basket. Have that stuff spread out. You have friends that come over, neighbors, birthday parties, whatever, for your kids. Get that shit out of sight. Don't let nobody walk into your food storage room or see your supplies, because that's going to trigger something in their head. They're going to remember that. So keep that shit out of sight when you have people over. You got to be careful what you say on social media, because people likewise will remember that. And everybody has some friends that say, well, I'm not going to prepare. If something happens, I'll go to your house. Damn shit me, you ain't coming over here. I'm telling you so you can prepare now. I've had to tell a few friends that. Then I moved away, out of state. Since I moved here, I ain't telling nobody about nothing. Not that I have anything. Or do I? I don't know. So anyways, never keep all your eggs in one basket. Spread that out. Have stash spots. You'll be thankful you did. Have them in places that you can access, and just in case they shut the roads down, they shut bridges down. Make it accessible to you, but was not easily found by others. Because when shit hits the fan, people are going to go out. People are going to be combing through the woodlands and stuff like that, looking for a spot for them. And you don't want them to easily come across your stash, your cache of supplies. So keep that in mind. Another step. Clothes that you wear. Greyman approach. You going out down the street, getting supplies. Make sure you blend in like everyone else. Don't put on your camo gear, your military gear. You gotta blend in. You gotta look like you're grungy, like you're a desperate person. Dirty clothes, whatever. Because you look like someone that has something that they want, you got a target on your head. Don't dress tactical. That's a big one, because you'll stick out like a sore thumb. Trash you throw away. Shit hits the fan. You're in a house. You're eating whatever. You throw stuff away. People's gonna be walking the neighborhoods looking through trash for supplies and stuff like that. They see that, damn, they always have freaking food, man. Let me go tell my group, and we're gonna go handle this. Or you bring in before shit hits the fan. You're sitting there going shopping, buying a bunch of camping stuff or this, and that, and you're throwing out the big boxes by the trash. People won't really think too much of it, but if it sticks out there, they're gonna look at it, and again, it'll trigger something in their mind later that these guys have shit. These guys have some stuff, man. Camping stuff, supplies. Even going shopping, bringing stuff inside. you know, walking aside with tents and sleeping bags and fuel and guns and all this stuff like that. You know, people could be watching you on that. People notice it. So you want to keep it on the down low. Maybe bring it in at night, or when you know nobody's really around, bring it in. It's better to be safe than sorry. It's nobody's damn business what you have anyways, but they'll make it their business when times get rough. Do not trust anyone entirely. Friends, family, neighbors. Don't do it. You know, they say you can't work with family because there's always going to be some headbutting, and you being the general of your own group, because you have the food, you have the supplies, you invite friends or families, they're not going to take you seriously. They're going to be like, shut the fuck up, dude. This, you know, you're going to be butting heads. Because they're not going to take you as a leader seriously, probably, or most of the people, because they have that leniency, that good friend, good family, we're blah, blah, blah type situation. Be careful of that, because it could wreck your whole plan. Your clothing, your bumper stickers on your car, and other signs, flags maybe, just things of that nature. Like you see, like Canadian Prepper and some of these other ones will sell merchandise, clothing merchandise, stickers, coffee cups, whatever. It says, oh, I'm a prepper, anything to do with prepping and this and that. Don't do that. I mean, you want people to know what you're about, because, you know, but you don't. That'll make you a mark. Well, who's the prep around here? Who would have food around here? Ah, I know who. One that's been bragging about it for years. You are going to be a mark. Be careful. Don't put yourself out there like you're the cool one, because you ain't doing nothing but setting yourself up and your family for destruction, for a heartache. Because you are going to be the primary target when people's out of shit. They're just going to just nonstop. Another thing is home garden. Many of you have gardens, and many more are going to have to resort to that when tough times come. The thing is, people know that you have a garden. When shit hits the fan, people know that you got food. People know when things sprout up and ready to be eaten. They'll be catching an eye on it. Not to mention, everybody has drones these days. So, I mean, there's not much you could do about it if there's drones, besides shoot that shit out the sky. But everybody should take precautions with your garden. Maybe shrubs in the perimeter of your garden, taller fence, something just to leave a little bit of cover so not everybody can walk by and see it. Keep an eye on your garden, because it's going to be an active target when shit hits the fan, obviously, because everybody's going to be hard up for food. So keep that in mind. If you can, have your garden at your house, but have some other secret gardens. It's a pain in the ass, and it's very frustrating that you got the whole world want to steal everything you got, everything you work for when that time comes and you need it most. It's very frustrating, but that's the way it is. That's the way of life, because everybody else wants to live too. They disregarded all the warnings and just sheep the whole time. Now they're pissed off because they don't have nothing, and they feel like you should be the target and the one that's going to fork it over to them. They're going to be desperate. They're going to do anything necessary to feed them and their family. The smell of food, especially when you're hungry. When you're hungry, starving hungry, anything smells good. Well, except for maybe a pile of shit or something. But any type of food is going to smell appealing to very hungry people. So when you're cooking, even though power's off, whatever, you have a camping stove set up in your backyard or using your barbecue or your whatever else, that smell can go for miles. And everybody's going to smell that. And they're either going to rob you and take it, they're going to knock on your door begging, they're going to try to, anything they can to get some of that food. Because they're freaking hungry and that shit smells good. That's a given. That's a given. So all that food you saved, you got to be careful how you eat it. If you can even eat it like you intended to, because you don't want the smell to leach out to all the neighborhood. That also goes for lights in your house. Everybody else has power out, whatever. You're the only house that has lights on at night. You're a freaking prepper. You have shit that we need. You are a target. What you need to do is take some black sheets and duct tape them over the inside of your windows. Don't let no light out. You have a bedroom that you keep dark, and maybe make a little flap or something that you can peek out and look out what's going on in front of your house. Maybe have a couple spots like that, but absolutely don't let anybody see any light. Same with generators. You can't really have generators going because you're going to be a target. You're going to have somebody, I need to use my phone. Can I charge my phone? Can I run an extension cord for a little while to get the freezer going, or anything, coffee pot, TV. My kids just need to watch some TV for a little bit. Just anything. You're going to get it all. They may have a stove or a microwave they want to use for a while. But if one does it, they're all going to want to do it. And it's going to use up your resources. And I'm telling you, every scenario, it's not going to stop. So be especially careful with the generators, because that's loud. Okay? You might be better off with some sort of solar. If it's not connected to the system, the grid. You got to think of things that's not going to make you stick out. That's the whole point of being a Greyman. Yeah, so anyway, the generator noise will attract a lot of attention from a great deal away. And wherever there's generators, there's people going to be creeping and peeping to find out where it's coming from and what's it all about, because they would love to have that generator. So, and in certain situations, there'll probably be someone that would want to take you out for it. Desperate times, desperate measures. Let's see. Pretend to be a sheep and poor, like I was saying before with the clothes. Everybody else is going to be going out to the bread lines to be foraging for food, for supplies and stuff like that, especially with some kind of government help line or something like that, so-called bread line. You got to go out and be a part of that here and there. Put yourself out there, because if your family's the only one that's just staying in the house and never going out like everybody else is, they're going to be wondering what the hell's going on in there. How are you surviving if you're not going to the same bread line I am? I never see you out. What are you doing? You know, you got to pretend like you're a sheep. You got to pretend like you're just like everybody else. You're in the same position as everybody else. Greyman. One of the things that you could do is forage for food as far as plants. Like I said, there's all you can eat wild plants out there, completely healthy for you. You can at least get some bunch of plants in your hand in a basket, and people see you walking down the street, and they're like, what are you doing? This is how I eat. I'm not going to the bread lines and shit like that, because I go out and get these plants, and they're edible. Go get you some. You know, and that could probably make him at ease a little bit, thinking, oh, this family right here, no, they're cool. They're eating these wild plants and weeds and shit like that. You know, so just whatever. We don't want none of that shit. So that's an option. Keep out of sight. Like I was saying, keep stuff out of sight to house guests. Keep stuff out of your front yard for sure. You have a backyard. There's 3 points that people can peek through, other than a drone. You know, your back and both sides. You're going to have nosy neighbors, of course. Desperate people. So you got to keep that secure and hidden much as possible. Your supply as much as possible. I know it's not going to be, you know, totally hidden all the time, but I mean, you got to think about it. This is your livelihood. This is your family. Once the word's out, you're freaking screwed. You're screwed. So another thing is secure your home. All somebody got to do is kick in your door in the middle of the night. You're going to get caught off guard, and you're going to wake up to a barrel pointed right to your head or your kid's head or whatever. Secure your doors. Secure your windows. There's all types of ways to do that. There's many ways. From putting 2x4 in between your door and your entryway. There's chains, and I'm not talking about them little dinky ones. I mean, there's actual, just depending on how your house is set up and your front door set up and stuff like that, there is ways to secure your door so it cannot be kicked in. Or they're gonna have to kick it in for so long, so hard, you already be right there ready with the 12 gauge, ready to handle it. You know, you want to give yourself enough time to be able to react to a certain situation in an unprecedented time, an unexpected time, like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. You wake up, you hear a noise, you're like half asleep, you don't know what's going on. Takes you a few seconds to comprehend what the heck that is, and by then they can already be right there. Take that consideration. Secure your windows. You know, break window. That's another thing with the dog. You can have like a little Chihuahua type dog that doesn't eat much, easy to take care of, but it's your alarm. It's your alarm to alert any little noise. They'll alert you of the damn noise when they're walking in the gate. You can string fishing string with cans and stuff to make noise. That dog's gonna hear it, and you'll know it before they even get to freaking 100 yards to the door. So, and it doesn't cost nothing to feed them, hardly anything. All right. Next, train and talk to your family. Train your family. Train your kids, especially your kids. Kids have big mouths. Before shit hits the fan, they can talk. During shit hits the fan, they go play with neighbors, whatever else, they're gonna talk. Oh yeah, my dad got water. My dad got food. My dad got this, and that. They'll snitch to everything. So you got to get it to your kid's head. And if they are the type of kids that just don't shut up, then my opinion is don't let them go out and play. I'm not talking about before shit hits fan. I'm talking about after. You make your own discretion. See, you know your kids. Everybody's kids is different, but I'm telling you, kids have big mouths. Love these kids, but be careful. Maybe don't tell your kids everything. You know, they're gonna know the obvious, but let that be the obvious. But still tell them, don't say nothing. Shut your mouth. Don't tell them about maybe your firearm stash or your alternative spots that you took your supplies to. You know, that they could never get to anyways. So, you know your situation, but just be careful of them kids. Let's see. Basically, very selective bartering to people. Nobody's gonna have everything they need. Certain people have abundance of one particular item that other people don't usually have a majority of or have an abundance of. So, and then vice versa. So bartering is a great, excellent thing to do with people. You have to be careful. Because if you're like, hey, I'll trade you this for that. They'll be like, oh, you got that? No, I'm good. And then they'll come and take that later. If you have to lie. Say, hey, I got this particular, like I got a bunch of this dry goods food. I can trade you this. But the thing is, I have to go get it from my cousin's house a couple miles down the road because it's not at my house. I have it over there. So I have to, just something to keep their mindset, especially if they seem shady. If they're shady, don't do it, I'm telling you. But, you gotta play your cards. Don't let people know where your shit is. If you have to barter, you might have to, be full of shit on some things, which is, there ain't nothing wrong with that. That's what I'm saying. You ain't gonna trust everybody. You ain't gonna trust anybody. So, moving on, store fuel. Who gives a shit if they say it's freaking dangerous? Store fuel. And not only that, but stabilizers. You must do stabilizers. Like, I put gasoline in my lawnmower, and then a full year goes around, it started right up. It's not really the healthiest gas, or, I didn't put no stabilizer or anything in it, and it started right up. And it was good, and I used the damn tank. It was fine. It's really recommended that, anything past 6 months, you got to throw that gas out or do something with it or put stabilizers in it. But stabilizers come in a solid container, cap, airtight. It ain't that expensive. You can buy little by little, a few at a time. Put in your thing. Get some gas canisters. Because gas is, when shit hits the fan, it's going to be one of the first things that goes out. It takes electricity to run them pumps. Everybody's going to be filling up. It's going to run out of gas. Infrastructure is going to be closed down, so you can't have truckers delivering that fuel. You want to have a stockpile of that fuel. I'm not saying have 1 million gallons of it, but I mean, just something. At least have that emergency amount to get you out of where you need to go. And then some. Have that propane stocked up. Have that white camper's gas stocked up as stretches, especially with them lanterns and stuff like that. Anything. Any types of fuel. Save it. I suggest you get some kind of siphon just in case. There are some tricks to not even have to use a siphon with just a hose, and you ain't got to put your mouth on. You ain't got to do that. I'll get into that in the near future show. But siphon is always good to have in your prep. Let's see. Oh yeah. Beware of your farm animals. Beware of your chickens, especially because that's what people tend to have the most of. Even in urban areas, cities, you have chickens. Eggs are high in protein. A lot of other good nutrition inside eggs, not to mention the chicken itself. You're hungry, you're starving, your neighbor has chickens. Chicken dinner sounds awfully good tonight, doesn't it, kids? You know what I mean? So you gotta be careful, man. They're gonna be a target. At the very least, they'll sneak over and steal your eggs, possibly, if your yard ain't secure enough. Otherwise, they'll just go and take your shit. So, I mean, that'd be the main one is that. But, I mean, people do the same with pigs, goats, whatever. Anything is dinner when it comes to them type of times. You know what I mean? So, be prepared for all situations. That is very important. You know, when you grow up, a lot of families, or even in your schools, make a plan. If there's an earthquake, if there's a tornado, this is the exit routes. You do this, and that. We meet up down the street at this spot. Something. You got to make a plan with your family and possibly even friends of scenarios that may occur. Depending on what it is, we'll do this and that. If there's someone coming in and blah, 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 here's a firearm over here. Just whatever. You need to make a plan for different types of scenarios. You go to school, shit cracks off, everything is going chaotic. You meet me over here down the street, behind this tree or whatever. I'll come and get you. Whatever it is. Fire escapes. Burglaries. If phones go down and I can't contact you, what do? Very important that you prepare for all situations. At least rehearse it a few times. Talk about it. Make it a plan. This is what you do if this happens. So nobody's confused. Nobody's doing shit, that ain't logical. Everybody knows what to do. Because it is a dog-eat-dog world out there. You have to be very cautious. Everybody is going to flip when the world flips. World War II, they're still talking about, World War III. They're still talking about World War III. And now, Trump had that little meeting with Zelensky, and just between him and Vance, punked Zelensky's ass all over the international viewing on the media. So that in return, Russia's gone said they want to take Ukraine back because it used to be Russia. So they want that back. That's a huge piece of land. But if they take that back, they're going to be butted right up against the main part of Europe. And then that's just like China having a military base and setting up all their lines. That's like them taking over Canada and lining their shit up with military all across the border, in reach of all the weapons. So Europeans are pissed that what Trump did. So I can understand. I mean, whatever. I think the whole thing is coerced anyways, but anyways, things are gonna, they're leaning towards bad more than it is good. And the globalists still have an agenda. Biden works for the globalists. Trump works for the globalists. So things are going to continually get bad. It's not going to stop. Even if Trump was okay, after Trump leaves, who's going to get in next? It's not going to stop. You have to always be prepared. You see the government's response when we have a national state of emergency. You see the hurricanes, the tornadoes, the floods, the fires. You see the Federal Emergency Management, FEMA. They don't do shit. Nobody helps. They don't give you nothing. They don't help you nothing. They don't prevent nothing. They let your ass burn down because it's done by design. They want to take this country down. And they pretend like they're stupid about it, but it's only obvious when they just sit there and let your houses burn. They shoot them direct energy weapons down, and they just watch it burn. I should put on here, you better get some fucking blue paint for your roof so your house don't get burned down too. Anyways, moving on. Knowing what to say when confronted. If you're, and you will be, confronted by a neighbor, a stranger, cops, that freaking crime organization called FEMA, that has it in law where you have any excess, or if they say excess, but it's really anything. If you're a prepper, they see that you've been ordering shit and stuff like that. You get little snitches that's gonna call, and because they'll offer snitches rewards if they call in and say, "Who do you know? Stockpile shit," and stuff like that. And they'll come over there, take all your shit, gunpoint. It's the law. I had a show on this a while back. It's the absolute law that they can come to your house and take batteries, food, water containers, medical supplies, just anything, blankets, pillows, anything. Because that's way above their requirement that they said you should have, which is 3 days. Everybody knows that you're supposed to have more than 3 days of food and water. They're going to take that. They're going to say that they're going to distribute to the less fortunate, which they're lying sacks of shit. They're going to go dispose of it or take what they want and drop off the rest. Since when do they want your supplies? They've never accepted your supplies before, just like Salvation Army, just like Red Cross, just like any of that. They don't want your supplies. They want that freaking dough. That's the only donations that they'll take. Now, when shit hits the fan, now they're going to come over here and steal all your freaking supplies and give it to the less fortunate. What about the less fortunate that got their whole neighborhoods just completely demolished by a hurricane, by a fire? They don't deserve those supplies then? Matter of fact, they'll arrest you if you go over there and try to give them supplies. Now, all of a sudden, they care about their well-being and they want to come to your house, bang on your door, kick your door in, stick a barrel up to your head and take your supplies because they want to give it to them. No, it's not about giving it to them. It's about taking it away from you. They don't want you to survive. That's what it's about. Moving on, let's see what we got here. Forging books. Really important to do this way ahead of time. If you don't have time, just gather those books. Order them. Order these books. Forging for food, for medicine. That's what they've always done throughout the times before they came out with stores and shit in the last couple hundred years. You know, there's food to be eaten out there that's way better than anything you find in the grocery store. Way better for you. Packed with nutrients and all this shit. Even some that tastes pretty good. Along with medicine too. Natural medicine. What do you think a lot of the stuff that they make medicine with is from natural things. Hardly anymore with the big pharma corporation. You know, it's all laboratory shit. But for everything that you have wrong with you, there's something out in that wild that can cure you, that can help you. You know? There's stuff out there that can take care of you. You just have to know what you're looking for, because you can die with a plant 2 feet from you that you could have took that and it could have cured you or something like that. Trust me, they're out there. You buy the medical books for your region, for your area, and that book is like this thick. So think about that. Next step, psychology is life or death. You have to know how to talk to people, especially in desperate times. You have to know how to communicate. Not only just to get what you need, get what you want, but to keep people at bay. To, it's not necessarily who you are, but it's how you communicate with people. Because it's going to get nuts, and you have to have good communication skills. If you ain't scary, you got to act like you know what you're talking about, what you're doing, and play your psychology on it. And you got to be able to keep your composure. You got to be able to keep your kid and your family's composure. You got to be able to talk to people to keep them level-headed, your neighbors, your friends. If somebody's about to kill you for some top ramen or something, you got to be like, hey, dude, come on, man, I don't want to die over freaking top ramen, and you don't want to kill somebody, just whatever. Whatever. Very important that you develop skills to communicate. And a big part of that is psychology. So that is a big one. And then, reverse psychology as well. Like, you have a lot of food. People are going to come and ask you for food after she has fat. You need to go outside and, knowing that you're not going to get nothing, start asking neighbors, do you have any food? Do you have any food? Knowing they're not going to give you none. And you don't really care. You're just putting yourself out there like you're poor, like you ain't got nothing. So that'll save him from coming to your house later. Like, no, they ain't got nothing. They were asking me for some fucking food. That's a reverse psychology type deal. And there's many different aspects of that. That's just one example. You get what I'm saying. So that's basically what I want to talk about, man. The Greyman home edition type thing. When you're bugging in, you're home, you're there, you can hold majority of your the necessities rather than putting a pack on your back and happy trails. I mean, your best chance for a lot of incidences is bugging in. So I hope you guys got something out of what I was talking about here. I'm sure a lot of you guys already knew a lot of this stuff and thought about it and stuff. But if you haven't, take some of these things in consideration. Maybe adjust your plans a little bit more. Tune them up a little bit. Because good people will turn desperate. And then they'll do desperate things. They will take people's lives to feed their family. And that's just human nature, I guess. But you don't want to be that victim of this desperate person. That's what I'm saying. Because you don't want to be a freaking target, man. You don't want your kids being targeted. You don't want your kid to go outside and play in the front yard. during shit hits the fan situation. Somebody snatches your kids and holds them for ransom if you don't start coughing up your supplies to them. Anything like that could happen. Unless you sitting out front with the AR-15 on a rocking chair, be careful of your kids going out there playing. You can't just board them up in the house, but you got to keep your eye on them. So that's all I got for today. Please like, share, and subscribe. It'll help the channel if you got anything out of it. I got more content coming up tomorrow. I'll do a show. And I believe tomorrow's show is going to be about truth about food prepping. We're going to get into a few things, the goods and bads about prepping certain items to eat, the longevity of those, what's smart and what's not so smart. So tomorrow I will get into that. So that's all I got for tonight. New World Order Survival Guy. Everybody, you guys have a good one. Good night.